I saw that when Caitlyn got hurt, nobody wanted to go to the game anymore. It was like, oh, Caitlyn's not playing. I'm not interested in watching. But you have all these other players on Indiana that are interesting to watch. If these 10 that we rotate in the media and the brands were not playing, would anybody come watch the WNBA?
There is a terminal, highly toxic psychological disease currently ravaging the minds of the WNBA Old Guard, and it is actively threatening to destroy the economic foundation of the sport from the inside out. It is the absolute delusion of economic entitlement and blind pathological jealousy when a revolutionary once-in-a-generation talent arrives and single-handedly accelerates a professional sports league out of decades of financial irrelevance. The establishment does not say thank you. They do not fully embrace the unprecedented influx of television revenue, the newly acquired charter flights, and the sold-out arenas. Instead, a deep, bitter, and completely inexplicable jealousy takes over. They sit behind podcast microphones, completely detached from the reality of free market economics, and angrily demand that paying consumers spend their hard-earned money to watch a product they simply did not pay for. Welcome back. This is WNBA Pro, and today we are ripping the doors completely off the hinges to expose the most bitter, financially envious, and completely delusional media campaign the WNBA veterans have ever attempted to execute. We are seamlessly blending the explosive cinematic rage of an alienated fan base with cold, hard economic analytics that expose this deliberate sabotage. If you thought the tension was just about athletic competition, you need to radically recalibrate your reality. We are going to break down the highly coordinated gaslighting campaign led by players like Angel Reese, expose the staggering hypocrisy of the mainstream media, and reveal exactly why Caitlin Clark's offensive game is the ultimate lethal weapon that the Old Guard simply cannot comprehend or stop. But before we completely dismantle the delusions of the Old Guard, we must establish the exact, undeniable historical reality that currently terrifies them. While the establishment was busy broadcasting their toxicity, Caitlin Clark stepped completely outside the basketball bubble and executed a hostile takeover of the largest sporting event on the globe.
Huh? Wait, what? And now here you are, talking about Caitlin Clark, saying Caitlin Clark is dominating the WNBA conversation. The league is about more than just one or two players. Well, Angel, you have the ability to talk about whoever you want, whenever you want.
At the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Caitlin Clark stood in front of 350,000 people as the Grand Marshal of the biggest race in America, and let us be historically precise and absolutely rigorous in documenting this moment. She did not issue the traditional generic command to start the engines. She stepped to the microphone and delivered the exact definitive directive. She issued that precise command to the largest single-day sporting gathering on the face of the earth. That is the level of cultural magnitude she operates on. She is a global icon, followed by an absolute sea of humanity every single time she moves. Now let us return to the humiliating contrast and completely dismantle the sheer, unapologetic arrogance that is currently being broadcast on the podcast circuit by veterans who cannot handle this level of greatness.
We're circulating the same players over and over again that we're talking about, the same 10. AZ Fudd, Caitlin Clark. What about Enrique? What about Kelsey Mitchell? We don't talk about these players enough. I saw that when Caitlin got hurt, nobody wanted to go to the game anymore. It was like, oh, Caitlin's not playing. I'm not interested in watching. But you have all these other players.
She's the star, you goofball. She's the star of the team. She's the face of the league. I was watching a Pope video the other day. Salute to the Pope. I was watching a Pope video, and he connected a dot for me without realizing he connected a dot.
During a recent broadcast on her own platform, veteran Angel Reese decided to weigh in on the massive organized fan boycott that occurred when the Indiana Fever front office maliciously scratched Caitlin Clark from the lineup against the Portland Fire. Instead of holding the front office accountable for completely scamming paying consumers, Reese decided to aggressively attack the fans. Reese looked directly into the microphone and complained that when Caitlin got hurt, nobody wanted to go to the game anymore. She mocked the fans for saying they were not interested in watching if Caitlin was not playing, and then angrily added that there are all these other players on Indiana that are interesting to watch. Let the absolute staggering delusion of that statement completely wash over you. Angel Reese has her own podcast. She possesses a platform where she can talk about absolutely anything in the world. Yet she pathologically decides to obsess over the younger generation who is actively making exponentially more money than she ever could have imagined. She is operating under the archaic, socialist basketball mentality that assumes fans owe the WNBA their unconditional financial charity. The paying consumers who drove 4 hours and spent thousands of dollars on secondary market tickets did not purchase those seats to watch the Indiana Fever's backup guards struggle through a slow, painful quarter-court offense. They paid a premium, astronomical price tag to watch a generational superstar. To demand that fans sit in an arena and pretend that the bench rotation is equally as entertaining as Caitlin Clark is the absolute definition of corporate entitlement. And this staggering delusion did not stop with Reese. The host of the program, Rosalind Goldonwood, immediately doubled down on this fabricated narrative, claiming that fans have been fully converted to loyal WNBA purists, and that women's basketball stands entirely on its own.
Is on Indiana that are interesting to watch. If these 10 that we rotate in the media and the brands were not playing,
name 5 players on the Indiana Fever that are interesting to watch outside of Caitlin Clark. Name 5 of them. AB, all right, whatever. Kelsey Mitchell, okay. And who else? All right.
Anybody come watch the WNBA?
Yes, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. It's possible to say both of these things. I do think Caitlin Clark and the boom of the attention that was around her coming out of college brought a ton of new fans to the W. And for that,
keep in mind, this person on the bottom made their bones in the business following Steph Curry around as Steph Curry was going off.
The hypocrisy here is completely deafening. Let us look at the actual broadcasting history of this specific host. Rosalind built her highly lucrative television career by following Stephen Curry around during the Golden State Warriors dynasty. When she was working the sidelines for TNT Sports, she was not interviewing bench players between quarters. She was exclusively interviewing the undisputed megastar, who was actively revolutionizing the sport of basketball. The mainstream media has marketed the exact same superstars for decades. Yet when the WNBA finally lands a superstar who operates on that exact same global magnitude, the media suddenly demands that the fans distribute their attention equally among the entire roster. It is a completely transparent, hypocritical double standard designed entirely to protect the fragile egos of the veterans. But to truly understand why the WNBA Old Guard is completely terrified and mortally jealous of Caitlin Clark, you have to understand the physical and psychological geometry of what she actually does on the hardwood.
If you dunked on somebody, wouldn't you talk shit on them? And there it is. Caitlin Clark's logo 3 would be the equivalent of a WNBA poster dunk. The problem is, physically, nobody...
In the NBA, the ultimate display of absolute humiliating physical dominance is the poster dunk. When a player rises up and aggressively yams the basketball directly on an opponent's head, it completely shatters the defender's psychological resolve. But biologically, nobody in the WNBA is executing a poster dunk in traffic. Caitlin Clark has introduced the exact WNBA equivalent to the poster dunk, the 35-foot logo 3. When Caitlin Clark casually walks across half-court, pulls up from a different zip code, splashes a highly contested three-pointer directly in a veteran defender's grill, and proceeds to talk absolute trash to them all the way down the floor, it serves the exact same psychological purpose as getting posterized. It is a terrifying display of absolute dominance. It proves that she can do something that absolutely nobody else in the league can mathematically replicate. That is precisely why the fans are completely drawn to her, and it is precisely why the Old Guard is so deeply pathologically envious. She is actively humiliating them with a weapon they do not possess. And despite the WNBA establishment desperately claiming that the league is bigger than one player, the cold, hard, indisputable television ratings completely destroy their manufactured narratives.
160,000 more people tuned in to watch a Caitlin Clark-less Indiana Fever basketball team. And I know they dropped the injury report last minute. Very quickly, people could have turned it off.
Business is booming. Everything is up. It's definitely not only because of Caitlin Clark.
Yes, it is. A rising tide lifts all boats. Here we are with this dumb shit yet again going into year 3. A rising tide lifts all boats. You people really think that if she never went into this league, these ratings would be this high? Are you people that dense? Are you that thick in the head? Are you that clueless to what's actually going on here?
There's so much more going on in the W. Women's basketball, in my opinion, is much bigger than any 1 or 2 players. While I do think that they've been important to...
You wish that was the case, but if that one player says, yeah, I'm done playing women's basketball, then guess what? Women's basketball?
Let us look at the actual economic data. the WNBA heavily promoted the inaugural debut of their new television deal on the USA Network, featuring the back-to-back champion Las Vegas Aces against the Los Angeles Sparks. That highly anticipated matchup drew 529,000 viewers. Just a few days later, the Indiana Fever played the Portland Fire on the exact same network. Caitlin Clark was a late scratch and did not play a single second due to an injury narrative, yet that Clarkless Fever broadcast still drew 680,000 average viewers. Even when she is sitting on the bench in street clothes, the residual Caitlin Clark effect mathematically outperforms the defending champions. Over 150,000 more people tuned in to watch a game she might potentially step into than tuned in to watch a Shaw Wilson. The establishment media refuses to brag about these numbers because it completely shatters their carefully constructed agenda. The reality is that if Caitlin Clark decided to walk away from professional basketball tomorrow, the entire league would immediately circle the financial drain and return to playing in empty libraries. The fans are entirely awake to this scam. You cannot shame the consumer into watching a fundamentally boring product. You cannot gaslight the internet into believing that the Indiana Fever are a collective ensemble, or that the Old Guard deserves equal billing for a completely inferior product. Caitlin Clark is the undisputed engine of this entire multi-billion-dollar operation. The jealousy is real, the bitterness is documented, and the exact second the WNBA Old Guard forgets who is paying their salaries, the fans will aggressively remind them by closing their wallets. This is WNBA Pro. Smash that subscribe button right now if you want the absolutely fearless, high-octane analysis that destroys the establishment's fake narratives and fiercely defends the rights of the paying consumer. Drop your most explosive, unfiltered take in the comments below. Is Angel Reese completely delusional for telling fans who they should watch? And is Caitlin Clark's Logo 3 the ultimate disrespect in women's basketball? I want every single honest basketball opinion in that comment section. Hit the notification bell because the economic war is escalating. The Old Guard is panicking, and we are documenting every single piece of the wreckage. We will see you in the next video.